Hi everyone, thank you very much for watching this video and subscribing to my channel. So in this video we're going to talk about power consumption and power injection for our show. And to be more exact, we're going to be using this device. This is a watt meter and power analyzer. So basically what it does, it measures the watts and the amps that are being consumed by whatever thing you plug in here. This works with DC voltage. It takes up to 60 volts, and this is used for radio control devices such as airplanes or trucks or cars. And what they do with it, they measure, how much power is being consumed by the servos, and how long the battery would last, and things like that. Okay. Luckily, this takes up to 60 volts DC. Our show runs in 12 volts, so we should be good using this device to measure how many amps and how many watts these lights are consuming. These are the WS2811 on the 12 volt version. So all that you're about to see is 12 volts. Okay, and I picked this one because these ones are the most used by the people, especially on the mega trees and the singing element. So we're going to use this for our testing. All right, so let me get everything hooked up and I'll be back with you in 1 minute. Don't go. Okay, so I'm back. So let me show you the setup that I have over here. So I have my Falcon controller, which is sitting right there. It's already power on. And I have another box with two power supplies. All of three are 360 watts, 29 amps each. This is the setup that I have. We are only going to use one of them for the power, the power injection that we're going to use, because this will be just enough for our test. I also have the power analyzer sitting here, and I have a camera on top of it. You can see the live feed over there. I have here in my hand. Okay, so that's a live feed, and I have 300 lights sitting here. This is the WS2811, and I have a multimeter sitting here that we're going to test the energy that is flowing through our string. So let's do some testing. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the test in all white port. So this it's already enabled. I'm just going to double check that. So it's off and on. So now we are running a white test on all ports. Also, I'm going to go into my output string. And right now I have port number 1 running at 30% of brightness. Okay, so what you're going to see is 30%. So let me plug the first one and see what we get. Oh, and by the way, I have a cable from port number 1. And this is 25 feet long. Okay, this is a real test. This is a real cable that I use on my mega tree. Okay, so I'm gonna plug the first one, and we got lights. And that one, our analyzer says that is consuming 5.3, 5.4 watts at 0.4, 0.7 amps. Okay, so that's how much 50 LEDs use on WS2811. Okay, so let me plug the second one. So keep an eye on that on the watts that we're using. So here goes the second one. Here it comes. So I have two of them. I have 100 pixels now. So it went up to 9.4 using 0.8 amps. Okay. So now let's see how many watts. What's the voltage on this? So this is the end of the string. So this is LED 100. Let me see the reading that we have here. This is 10 volts, 10.4 volts. Okay, so we're good. I like to run my LEDs at least 10 volts on all white. Okay. And why is that? Because we are never going to run them on white, and on white we're using all 3 LEDs on inside the pixels. Okay, so this is the worst case scenario, all white. But since we're going to do different effects, well, your LED is never going to be lit 100% of the time, okay? So if I have 10 watts, 9 watts maybe along on the worst place, I'm still good with it, and I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so now we're using 9 watts. I'm gonna plug them all now. Let's go for all 300 now. There we go, 300. And the analyzer says that we're consuming 16 watts, 1.5 amps. So 16 watts. But now I can tell that this string is not as bright as the other ones, and there I can actually see a little bit of flickering in these ones. It might not be obvious to the camera, but I can see, and you can see how it's ramping down on the colors. So let's take the reading of the voltage at the end of the string. My guess is gonna be low, and it's reading 6 volts. Wow, that is not acceptable. It's too low. What do I have halfway? So let's see, halfway we have 7 volts. Not acceptable, it's too low, okay? So now here's what power injection comes in, okay? So let's inject, let's see if there's a difference if we inject in the middle against if we inject at the end of this string. So I'm gonna get a couple of jump cables, and I'm gonna plug on my second power supply, positive. So we go positive. I'm gonna plug it halfway, and now the negative. And also halfway. Okay, so it looks much better. And now we drop the voltage, the amps to 0.7 and the watts to 8.4, 8.3. So let's take some readings. So my guess is we're gonna have 11 over here because we're too close to power injection. Yeah, 10.7, so we good. I like that. Now what happens if we go to the end of a string? Let's see. So this one is reading 9.3. Okay, I think that's acceptable. You know, not bad. Let's see what happens if we plug it to the end of the string. So here we go, in here, and now in here. So now the string looks better. Let's see what we got here again. 9.5 halfway. 9.4. Okay, well, not bad. I think that's acceptable. So just to prove why I'm saying that this is acceptable is I'm gonna go now and say that I don't want all white, but I want to do a, let's say that we're gonna test it on red ramp. Okay, that's more realistic. Let's say that we're running our show and the lights go up and down, up and down. Now we can see that the reading on the analyzer, you know, goes all the way to 6 watts, and it drops to 4, 3, 5, so maybe 6 watts the most. What about the voltage? So if we try it halfway, now the voltage is 11, 10, 11, 10. So that's good. That's nice. That's a good voltage. That's what I say, that if you have 9 volts, 10 volts on all white, when you run your show, you should be good because you got 11 volts among all the strings, okay? And again, I mean, you're not going to run your show all white, hopefully, right? I mean, it's going to be just blinking, all kind of effects, on and off, and all kind of different colors. And again, so with that, we are consuming I mean, the most 6 watts. Now it's split into 2 power supplies. So this is good. I mean, by having 3 power supplies, my guess is you can run thousands of pixels, you know, thousands of lights, you know. So we're good. All right, so that proves a little bit about the power consumption on LEDs and the volts that we need to have. So for me, injecting power every 300 LEDs, 300 lights is good. That's how I run my show, every 300. Now, what happens if we put it 100%? Oh, that's gonna go, that's a lot of power. So let's go into my output strings, and let's say that we're gonna run it 100%, just for fun. So this is 30, let's put it 100% and save it. Okay, now our reading, now it goes all the way to 13 watts of power consumption, and let's see the readings on the voltage halfway. So halfway we have 9, it goes all the way down to 9, 10, 9. So we're good. Yeah. Inject power every 300 and then you should be good. You should be good. Okay. Now I run my show at 30%. I like it because these lights are very bright at night. I mean, unless you have a public light right in front of your house, you might want to, you know, bring it down to 30%, 40%. So there you have it. Now we know more about how to inject power to these lights. How many watts are we using, the amps that we're using. Now we can get a better idea of how many power supplies that we're going to need to run our show, okay? And it varies a lot. It all depends how long, how far we have our show from the main controller. We know that the further we go, the more energy we need. And there's a limitation to it, okay? So one thing that you will need is a multimeter, because that is widely used. You need to make sure that you can read the voltage in different places of your string, so you know where's the best place to inject energy. Okay, so thank you very much again for watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't done so, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you very much.